Hey you guys, it's MJ from Untitled. How are you? So I got very briefly inspired to talk about the influencer culture, and I'm sure I will. I'm sure I'll have a go at that. But then I'm definitely in some swingy um binary experience. Hi Mike. Hi Fifth World. Hi April. How are you? Yeah, I'm definitely finding this swingy energy of inspiration, and then I'll float to the other side of who even effing cares? The world is insane. Everyone's just trying to make more money and ignoring one another and ignoring the system of oppression. I'm so grateful for this community. I really am. But I sometimes just what's going on? Okay, and then I'm going to employ the academic in me, and I want to talk about why our historical context can be important in understanding some of our reactivity and some of our points of attraction in the here now, because we've been programmed to linearity and a false logic. So I've put in historical context of what we have to understand are the multi-layered aspects of driven fear. So fear as a layer of perception has been what has created this system of control domination in the world that we're in. We're in it, and we've chosen to be here. And a lot of us don't want to be here, which is why we do what we do, and why we are who we are. Is we are here to outwork it, clear it, heal it, shift it, raise it up. It's just not that we're just not. That's part of the flipple. That's part of the flipple of the reversal. It's part of the reversal of the world's construct. Is that we have to unify our perception, i.e., one, see the fear and then transform the fear, recognize that, and then what conceptual framework, we have to understand that the conceptual framework we've come up with is actually a falsehood. Perception of fear is a separation construct in limitation. And so we do have to be able to wrap our heads around how we've come to be this way, and then why it's outworking us. And it's not outworking us from one generation. This is going back thousands of years of our human historic context. Just means the stories that we're telling ourselves about who we are and why we're here. And we've been kind of moving along, and we've been evolving all along. It's just we're now, the evolution cycle is taking us to an apex of kind of a crux, a climatic moment, event horizon sort of thing, of a bifurcation where we choose the fear or the love. And the fear cycle goes round again in the exact same kind of frequential experience. And then the love cycle takes us into realms that are they just feel better. Even though healing, as we know, is emotionally quite painful, the deeper we go within, we realize, no, this is healthier. It is better for us. I would much prefer to live this way, and I don't give a ass. It's getting to that point. Energetically, it's increasingly just painful and uncomfortable to be around people in fear, even when they don't even think they're in fear, and yet the empath can feel the layers and feel where people are denying themselves and denying love. And it's just at this point in my life, or maybe just the mood that I'm in right now. I'm totally mosh, by the way. And I have to say, guys, I thank you so much. And but I'm still kind of in the depths, and having a lot of having to really anchor into my heart of truth and just be present, because there's nothing. It's it's all washed away now, and we do just have to be and have to rebuild. And but I feel there's some really deep decisions that we're having to make, and and it like at the same time, it's just like, "Oh my god, are we is it still crazy out there?" And this is why I wanted to talk about the, like, influencer stuff, because this is the stuff that hits up against me, my upbringing of, like, the chaser of the dream and the, like, basically, there was something in my upbringing where it was, like, for so many years in adult in, like, well, since I was probably about 10 years old, it was like I had to achieve these crazy heights just to be okay, like, just to be worthy of being alive. And of course, none of that in essence has come to pass, but everything's flipped around where I'm like, I just don't even like, I don't want for any of that. And really, I'm just like, there's just, and I don't mean to come from desperation, but the desire and the yearning for more love and compassion on this planet is just so real and so like um just the sense of sort of like pleading with humanity to wake up and see us all as one, like please, please. So anyway, you guys, I will talk about the influencer stuff when I'm in a bit of a lighter mood, I think, and I don't want to come from a place of attack, and I don't want to come from a place of victimhood because I don't want to like attack the influencers. But I do see it as another false layer. It's like all this shit's coming out around Hollywood, and so let's insert the next falsehood layer in social media. And I'm sharing this because I'm having to own the fact that I just got swept right in, hook, line, and sinker when my acting career fell apart, and then all this like YouTube-y whatever, and I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, let's. And then now all this like privilegey stuff and like all these next layers of stuff is coming out, and now I'm like, I never knew nothing at all, and like having to get to these points of vulnerability and honesty and frankness about having had the awakening 17 years ago and having been an emotional self-responsible and been manifesting for decades now, mind over matter, been doing all this work, and then seeing people read the circle and like start manifesting, and then like you see all the convoluted layers kind of like spinning out in different communities, and like what is going on, and then you have your own ego shit to deal with as far as like, well, who am I to speak up, and who am I to think I could be free, or think I could actually love myself, or think I could actually be of service in the way that my heart feels the desire for, But I'm like, but that's like the Williamson quote of like, who am I not to be? Who are any of us not to be all that we desire? Which I think is just freedom and joy and connection. It's not like I care about jewelry. It's not like I care about having fancy cars. It's not like I really like any of us get that. We don't want anything. We just want to be able to have an experience of this evolution, putting my feet in the sea and on the sand, and drinking coconut water, and like it's so simple, this life, and the hive mind matrix has made it so like, oh my gosh, like what is this? Oh my god, what are we doing? What are we doing? And like I feel this pulling apart of the self, and it's like, oh, it's just, I think internally it's starting to feel like it is actually breaking apart in a real way, and in the physical body vessel sense, there's just death after death after death, and all I can do is anchor it, and all I can do is have my little self-love rituals, and all I can do is be present with you guys and show up and share, because my life path has brought me to this point, and it's like all I know how to be. It's all I know what to do, and I share among us. I have feedback resonances with some of you where there's this sharing where it's like going, what is happening to us? Ooh, and only because I still recognize all weird, subtle power play tactics and control tactics in privileged spiritual community, which grates on my soul. And I just think that's not true. We were just lacing and using spirituality to get ahead in the world of narcissism and fear and greed, you know? And then we use the stuff to paint. We use all this stuff, and I do it too. I do it fucking too on Instagram and all this bullshit. So I'm not even, it's just like, we use it to be like, hi, yeah, life is good. Buy stuff from me. And I'm like, it is good, and I want us to be positive, but I want us to like keep doing it. But I'm trying to figure out like, but what is the truth, and who is telling the truth, and what is the privilege piece in all this, and why are we all being triggered, and when do we get to just land and be in peace? And I actually, weirdly, as I express this outpouring with you guys, I'm like, it is here. I'm having a lot of these sort of shifts where I know to you guys, it looks like I'm crying, but actually the tears are like an outworking of conflict. The pain is that what I realize from in the self is like the release is coming. The end is here. The light is like being born. It is already done. So the tears are more like, it's tears of like relief, of like, oh my God, it's over. And I'm so thankful. Because like nothing, because all any of us can do as individuals is focus on our own evolution. Because I'm aware if we're projecting an unevolved soul, if we think that just because I'm crying that I'm unevolved, then it's not. We're here. The thing is, just you being here is all the support that any of us need. Just be in your heart, be in your truth, believe in your desires, believe in yourself. That's how we support each other. And I know people are like, whoa, no, turn it down a notch. But I'm like, I can't stop the flow. I can't stop the flow anymore. You know, I don't press live, get ready to be like, ah! It's subtle trigger points. It's subtle outworkings that are coming, that are coming out. And we're all part of it, you know? And yeah, we are love. And I know my words, especially when I'm like this, my words are so harsh. Recently, somebody was like, whoa, like, it's like a monster coming out. And I'm like, I know. Isn't it awful? Isn't it so disgusting? And then I'm like, but why is it me? Why am I the monster when this world is just so fucked up, you know? And I know, you guys, like, this is why I'm like, it's like, this is how effing weird. I'm like, this is the safest space for me just to be myself. And I'm apologizing. I want to apologize to Tree Hugger Dave. I didn't mean to like be harsh about like, how can you assist? You do everything. You guys are here. Even having a handle like Tree Hugger Dave, I'm like, if you're hugging trees, you're doing everything. I guess I'm like, there's this like the polarity of like, I'm aware of like the victim consciousness, and I'm like, I know I'm not a victim. At the same time, I can't deny the waves. I can't deny the feels. And people judge me, think that I'm being a victim, and this is like sort of an Aries thing, but like constantly being like, yeah, yeah, like showing up and keep going and keep smiling and da 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 da, and like, and so people, there's judgment there of like, you're not depressed, you're not da 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 da, and so there's that polarity of feeling the judgment and not letting the judgment tear us down because it's not conscious in other. It's just par for the course, I guess. And I guess sometimes you just get little reminders of like how cruel and kind of like distorted the system is. And then what really hurts my soul is like how criminal, thank you guys, how criminal the system is, where I'm like, how is it that we live in this system where the poor are penalized and punished? And yeah, it just hurts my heart basically. And you know, I'm aware of it, and I do this I've done this in my life cycles where it does just thanks, Scott. I appreciate that. See, like, and this is like a classic empath thing, straight up. I had a bit of a reaction for some reason when Tree Hugger said that thing about what can we do to help? And this is something is like you guys don't even realize, but like I've never really been able to ask people for help, you know? Oh look, there you are. And like here I am, like scrolling through the comments, like feeling bad about reacting against Dave's comment. Like the guilt and the punishment stuff is so deep inside, isn't it? Oh my god, thank you. Yeah, they are like orgasms, aren't they? And yeah, and so like I'm starting to realize that I'm finally opening myself up to receive, and it's bringing up more of this like release of like, it's okay, you're safe, you can let go, you can be yourself, people aren't going to deny you anymore, people aren't going to try to control you, like people love you and they just want to give. And I think when you've like been through so much of this emotional stuff and like deduced and like taken all these leaps and like published a book and like done things that in your little mind or you think is so pure and beautiful, and then people deny you and people shun you and tell you who dare you and who do you think you are and all this stuff, and you're ungrateful person, and I'm just like, oh my god, like. And then I'm realizing I've just been and then detaching and disentangling these cords and realizing that so many of us have just been like actually feeding off of people's fear and or feeding their constructs, and finally stepping into our power and allowing all this clearing to continue. And like, I want to say one day it's over and you never have to feel again, but that's not my experience. And I've been consciously doing transformational emotional work very consciously since end of 2012, really. End of 2012 is when it kicked in, and then by end of 2013 it was real. Like I knew I was clearing ages and ancestral wounding, my own patterning, yada yada, and it just has continued. And all that's happening now is that I can just be more present with it. I'm not hi Dharma. I'm not afraid of it, and that's part of this big shift as far as like me just sharing and I'm not ashamed of all these feelings, but I know the life experience I've lived, and I know how yeah, okay, so like this is life, you guys. I literally am like, anyway, the heart is clearly, and like we have full moon energies on the approach. And like my whole soul just like, this is what I mean of like the intensity. My whole soul is just so desperate for peace and like flow and abundance. And like I have that in my life. This stuff just comes through and I'm like, what is life? What is happening to me? Right? I know you guys. I know you guys are here for me. Like, this is why I show up. This is my soul family. This is my community. These are the people that I'm here for. I'm not here for myself, although I am, because we are all one. So of course I'm here for myself, but I'm like, I surrendered many years ago. Annoyingly, on one drunken night in confusion and pain, probably after vomiting, I knew. I just thought, like, I don't know how to be useful or how to make any of this world, because I could, like, literally couldn't fucking handle the pain of the oppressed. I couldn't handle the poverty and the war and the fucking disparity. So I was like, instead of just like pursuing an acting career and like jumping on that, I just like inwardly, secretly was like, I'm just gonna let go. I'm just gonna surrender my life, because I don't know how to be. I don't know. And then you surrender, and and then your life just, you have all these experiences, and the times where I'm like, I think I know, are the times where it's like, no, your mind has been fucking corrupted. You don't know shit. And I'm like, ha. So I just default back into the feels, because I'm like, well, something's happening to me when I'm going, ah, like, because that I share little sound bites with you. You guys just know that actually, like, on a day-to-day level, especially these last few months, it's been fucking deep. So much emotion clearing. Oh, look at Scott. Rainbows require rain. Oh my god. Like, hi there. Oh, randomly. I'm randomly thinking of, like, hi Aphrodite. I'm thinking of oh, Jazz. Jazz. Thanks for sharing. I forget sometimes, you know, we get so caught up in our own little worlds, and then it's like, you guys, we're not alone either. This group of us, 20 odd people, we're not alone either. There's other people that are just waiting to find our community to be like, oh, thank God, you know? Yeah. Jess and Claire, I appreciate that. And I know that there's a few of you, I know that we resonate with that, like, we're gonna be a star. Like, and then just did all the right things that the world told us to do, and ended up just, well, I'll speak for myself, ended up just pioneering a way out to find more peace, basically. Oh, did I say pioneering? I don't even think that was the word I was meant to say, but like brain absorption. Lakshmi says pioneering, and I insert pioneering into the sentence. I'm like, I don't even know what I was saying. But yeah, the kind of resonance and soul family connection, and being able to speak so that other people understand what I'm saying, and that you guys are like, yes, I resonate, I concur, I feel you. And I'm like, well, thank goodness. Such a nice change up from people saying one thing and me getting a different feeling, but being like, no, I would give people the benefit. Why would people lie? People don't lie, right? And I don't even think people consciously necessarily lie. I think people are so like in like fear and like trying to hide their true self that they end up just lying because they're so ashamed of who they are. They lie because they can't admit that they're a pervert, or they can't admit that they raped a girl, or they can't admit the darkness, you know? Like, none of us want to admit the darkness. None of us want to admit that we're an addict, or that we're broke, or that, like, all these vulnerabilities, you know? None of us want to admit the shits that we're in. Let's just fucking put our makeup on, get dressed, and everything will be absolutely fine. And I'm just getting so worn down by it all, you know? Like, so worn down by the fucking fakery of our world and the fakery of our and I straight up at this point I find okay Hollywood politicians, MK Ultra, banking systems, monetary systems, Rothschilds, elite families, like it's all just so like what we've been lied to. Oh my god, what we're lying to ourselves, like what the actual fuck is going on. But like for me the recent layer was like the spiritual communities, and I'm just like, oh my god, like in a weird way I find this most recent cycle that I've been through like even more just like and but then that's maybe a good thing because I'm just like, yeah, outworking my own distortion, outworking all my own separation consciousness, outworking all of my own falsities around fucking privilege and dogma, superiority, inferiority, all of those divisive tactics, outwork all of them. I'm just, again, having gone into like the yoga, well-being, spirituality with this like naivety, love and light, let's all just meditate and da-da-da-da. And then like 10 years later, popping out the other side of the well-being industry and being like, these people, like, unfortunately, what happens to us is that the well-being industry just takes over from the acting chase, from the Wall Street chase. Let's chase let's look fantastic in leg warmers and tights. Let's do a few more squats so that our bums look fantastic. But let us avoid addressing the inherent systematic fucking issue of the world that we're all buying into, i.e., just keep paying one another and then it's all gonna sort out. And I wobble around it because it seems that often, one, people are completely blind to it, or two, they're completely like unaware of it, and then I'm the crazy one, or like people like us, we're the crazy ones because like fuck the system basically, but don't fuck it because we love it. We love the world. I actually want to have love for all people, like even fucking Donald Trump. Sorry, but like I do. I can find love. It's like this. You guys know what it is. You find love. You find heart, love, vibration for all of humanity. You find heart, love, vibration, forgiveness for all beings in the entire universe. Like that is the truth of our heart. So I'm not like, there's no real coming from division or attack, but the energetic disparity through these aeons of distortion, they need to be outworked and they need to be addressed. And I'm damn tired of all of myself. I can only ever speak for myself. This relentlessness of trying to get ahead. It's all fakery, and I'm not even sure what the F to do about any of it. You know, because it's binary. Like in a weird way, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I literally, even though I was like feeling sad, I'm like posting some bullshit on Instagram about like, come to yoga today. Although, you know, fortunately I'm really lucky because I have been able to like merge my personal yoga practice with my like me, the me that you guys get to know. Like I swear in my yoga classes, not all the time. And I am actually conscious of that. And I would like to outwork it. Like I don't want to be a potty mouth person for the rest of my, life. Plus I'm aware of like, anywho, it can offend people. And I wouldn't want to do that. And I don't need to swear. Come on, Molly, you're a smart girl. You can stop swearing when you talk. But it just comes out sometimes. And I sometimes think it actually comes out even for the benevolence of the group, for them to ease up, for them not to be like, oh yeah, we're supposed to be like spiritual or we're supposed to be perfect. I'm like, hell no, you're you. You're perfect as you are. Heart, love, vibration. So like the yoga at time and time again just saves my life, basically. Daniel, yeah, like that's basically like I'm actually saying as you're writing the same thing of like that's so just love. And like, so okay, things didn't work out how I wanted, I'll set up classes. It just so happens that this lovely little community by the coast needs a yoga teacher, so I'm your girl, you know. And like I'll show up for you guys, and I'll share this practice with you guys. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Like I can share that, and it's beautiful, and like I'm embodied with it. I get it fully. I just pick up a lot of falseness in the well-being community, and it hurts my heart, especially because feel this isn't necessarily the truth, and I'm not attacking other, but this is obviously a wound over lifetimes of I feel so shunned. I feel so shunned by the world and by communities sometimes, and I know it's not true, and I continue to work through this stuff. I just it's just the pain. It's the pain of the world that everyone pretends isn't there or is in denial of or da-da-da, and that, I don't know, do you guys get that? There's this continual conflicted aspect in it, but not of it. Warrior pose. I'm gonna do loads of warrior today in yoga for sure. Tears cleanse. Go for it. I know they do. So I'm aware of this, oh my god, you guys. I have a feeling that this full moon's gonna be a little bit fucking intense. Just putting it out there. Because there's a real sense of this full moon. I know, you guys. I know. And this is straight up service, yo. Because I flow, living intuition. I flow so intuitively. There really is no separation. I'm just showing up when I'm showing up. And I'm not, I don't plan this shit. It just happens, which means and tells me there is a collective, there's a collective clearing. You guys got some pain you need to clear? Come visit Molly at All She Love TV. She'll do it for you. She'll feel it for us all. Because we're rising up, and I can feel more of you guys are reaching out to me. And so what's happening is that I can feel my energy attuning to our collective energy, and because we're starting to lift the lids, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling waves yet again of the honesty and the truth of the pain that we carry, and I'm just so touched by it. And because I'm not somebody who's gonna deny what I feel, I'm just going, hey, oh my fucking god, oh my god, there's some pain in the world, and we can't transform the pain unless we let it move through us, right? And you get to be seen, yeah. You get to be seen in the truth of our existence here with one another. It's again, the avatar. I love that scene in the first instance when the blue girl, the main girl, I don't know their names, but the army guy in his blue suit, he the first time he gets released into the avatar land. I don't know enough of the words, right? So Avatar land, and when he first he's in his blue suit, and he gets lost or something. And then there's this whole scene around him getting attacked by these black scary dogs. And then she comes along and saves him with her mad avatar skills. And I'm pretty sure there's a scene from Dances with Wolves about this as well, about the native Indians would hunt and kill deer and or bull to last the winter for their community, FYI. But there's a scene in Dancing with Wolves where you see them take the deer out or whatever, and then they lie with it and bless it and are grateful for the life, and they feel the pain of the death of it. And I'm that is raw honesty. That is reality. Not us pretending that slaughter isn't happening while we eat our Mackie fucking D's. All these people that I face sometimes who yeah, anywho, I'm not gonna go off on that. I'm not going off on that tangent, you guys. But I was talking about something before I went off on that tangent. about like Native Americans and like the underlying respect they have for life and how they would slaughter in reverence for that life force. Oh yeah. Bye Jazz. Bye bye. I will. I love you. I know I'm strong, but thank you for the encouragement because I need it. In Avatar, it's kind of like a similar-ish thing where oh my god, we should absolutely. I'm a vegan, Crypto Mike. I'm a vegan, and I've just finished actually a couple weeks ago launching Ulta Vegan Love, which was an 8-week course encouraging people to be vegan. And I've been like on and off again vegan since I was 12 years old. So I'm like, I have never been able to like face, like I couldn't, once I made the connection, I was like, I can't invest. And then the more I've learned about it, the easier my vegan life has been. So I'm one of those. At the same time, I've evolved. So I don't judge humans for eating meat, but I am an advocate for saying we need to find more love and compassion. And to do that, we have to face the cruelty that we're engaged in. You know, we have to face the fact that a lot of our privilege came from war and fucking oppression and enslavement and genocide. You know, our privilege, that's why it fucking cringes me out, because our privilege, the reason that like all that fucking influencer shit bugs me so much. And again, I do it, so I'm like, but like, yeah, life. It pisses me off because I'm like, you don't know suffering and you've never fucking looked at it, and or you've looked at it and you every day try to deny that it has anything to do with you, and just focus on our bank accounts and just focus on the next thing we're gonna go buy and just focus on the next holiday. Well, things don't necessarily shift, but they are shifting and they are changing. And I love this. We are flushing the toilet on that past, you know, we're clearing it out, right? Oh, I know. I know that. We know that. We get it. We get it, right? Same, Crypto Mike. I know, like that's in the course. Every week has like the different, there's forks over knives and all of them. Carnage, Cowspiracy, What the Health, Fat, Sick, Nearly Dead, Earthlings. Like basically the vegan course is like super non-judgy. Try it out, but also read this, watch this, and then make a choice. Make an informed and aware and awake choice. And that's the same thing happening with fast fashion. In the vegan course addresses it as well. So does our zero waste course, right? So it's all just our consciousness of being like, are we going to just be blind, empty consumers? And like continue to worship celebrity for the fucking falseness of it? Like, let's just continue to worship all the rich, pretty people while we ignore the fact that our daily consumption and some of our daily patterns are destroying our home. Like, what the fuck is happening here, people? Honestly, don't know how to deal. Like, and in like straight up, this is just why I share with you guys, because I'm like, does anyone else fucking think this or feel this? Am I the only one going insane over here, just trying to make a living peacefully, but also hella aware of like, oh, I love that I replace one false word with another unreal word, but of my own creation, so whatever. Hella. Okay, so I want well, and I think this is part of the devices, and this is part of the influencing culture. That's what they've done, you see, because people still don't want to deal with their shit. It's like, fuck, they're waking up from the bullshit of advertising on our televisions. Let's get them advertised on by these motherfuckers. And now I'm increasingly aware of like ADHD and like some of these things that are coming up because we're just, our connective devices are actually disconnecting us from ourselves in truth. So, oh my gee whiz, oh my gee whizzicles. Thanks, Tree Hugger. Thanks, you guys. The controller of fear is OCD, what's that relate to? Sometimes I feel I have OCD. Yeah, I do, and I have well, so Katie, who's like team love, I message her when I'm and this is the insanity, like, I mean, I'm fully aware of it. I'll have moments where I'm just literally like, I'm not even checking, I'm just like, Instagram, YouTube. This is why I came off Facebook because I just need to cut some out. Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, Instagram, me, and I'm just like going around. I'm not checking anything. I'm not looking at anything. It's just like this like tick, mindless tick. And then I'm like, oh my God, like what's happening, right? And then I've got like my organite. Where is it? So I got this. And like, I'm pretty clear. This is the legit truth, my friends. Like, I don't watch TV, haven't done for 10 years. I meditate. I got crystals. I try to get outside when I'm not fucking depressed. Yeah, burn incense and sage my house and meditate and I relax. And I actually, even when I'm depressed at this point, I still pretty much look after myself to the best of my ability. You know, I'm not drinking green juice all day. It's peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or, you know, maybe some roast potatoes. But, you know, for the most part, I'm not putting a bunch of shit in my body. And I'm not, although I have my own addictions, you guys know this, I still smoke cannabis. I'm still facing aspects of myself, but I'm not frightened of who I am. I'm not in judgment of who I am. I'm just like, okay, this is me. I don't know how, I don't even know what this ideal of perfection is anymore. Other than the fact that we're supposed to objectify our bodies, sexualize ourselves, and pretend like everything's okay, even when it's not. Even when it's fucking fully not. Although it's getting better, I'm just so damn tired of like like people who haven't anchored into suffering or haven't even faced a bunch of bullshit but that's my own. I'm like, ooh, that's just my own resentment because I've been a wonderful victim for so long. I'm like, oh. And I do get that. I also have that binary aspect of like when I'm low, I might cry. When I'm in my low, like depressed state, I have quite a lot of like resentment and bitterness towards people that like are shiny and happy all the time. Although I'm aware that like, again, people would think that of me. So I'm like, yeah, I get it. I get why people like, you know, cut me out or ew, get triggered by me because I'm just probably too smiley sometimes, you know? People are like, but I think fortunately on this channel, like I'm so honest and real, like I'm in my bedroom. There's a reason for that. Like this is the safest space for me, right? So I just share honestly. Thank you, Lakshmi, you know, and like, and this is it. And I'm like, well, where are any of us ever meant to be? And what am I supposed to be chasing anymore, you know? When you're sad, you slide. Tell me about that. Hey, Kurt, how are you, my friend? I'm called crazy every day. I said, well, yes, I am. Oh, for sure. I'm defo getting better at that as well, right? Crypto Mike, literally so emotional. I'm like, I'm just gonna cry, but it's super straight up, you guys. I can honestly say these are tears of like relief and gratitude. These are not the tears of like somebody's fucking hurt me again. Ah! No. This is like I'm relieved. I'm starting to be like, oh God, we're finally getting to the end, right? Oh, okay. It'll go okay. It'll go great, Kurt Mill. You're a legend, my friend. I'm sure of it. Actually, you guys know that we're all legends, right? Eternal, angelic, light force, Jedis of creation, beings of the star. I wanted to say beings of the sun, like the solar children, the rainbow squad, I don't even, I was going to say the Anunnaki. I'm like, I don't even know what that is ultimately. I do, but I'm not going there. I'm not going there, you guys, okay? Oh, nice. I know. Isn't it just simple stuff? I've got a friend coming. I got a friend coming over today. I've got yoga at 8 in the morning, and then I've got a friend coming over for a walk, and I have another friend coming over as well, who is actually a climate change change protest yesterday in London. So I will let you know. I'll keep you guys posted on his feedback because he dips in and out of this stuff. And again, it's just a nice resonance. He's like, he lives around this area of the UK and he's just in the area. So it was like, hey, let's meet up for a chat. And it just so happened that he literally is driving back through from London today, and we could line up a little meetup just to have another one like us, like meeting up again, because the other people I tend to not hang out with. Aphrodite, yeah, and yet Aphrodite, it's like the deeper we go, the deeper we know the self. Once we peel back enough of the masks and the kind of fucked up systematized distortion, and again, it's all born out of our own self-betrayal, self-denial, well, all the self-betrayal, self-denial is the cut off, like the disconnect, right? And then from there, we're just spinning out in patterns of separation until we're not. And so, you guys, like, I'm feeling so much better. I'm like ready to go to yoga. And like, this is what I share with in my yoga sessions with people. I'm like, yeah, guys, I was like full on bawling my eyes out this morning. They're like, and I just ride, flow, waves. Sometimes, and here's what kind of distorts it as well, is that humans are so in denial of the downturn that we like resist. Just stay busy. Just stay busy. Just stay fucking busy. Never have to deal. And like, that's why we crash out. That's why I crashed out this year, is because instead of dropping as deeply as I could, I was like, okay, no, I'll just be really fucking busy. I'm just really busy. And lo and behold, no matter what, on this path, I had to face the shit. I had to get down. Because this is ancestral. Like, I'm fully aware of that as well. Even though in the moment when I'm crying, I'm just me. My awareness, though, has this awareness that actually what's coming out of me is not just MJ's like little body stuff. It's actually like a collective program. It's collective pain, and it's ancestral pain from aeons of fucking oppression. Tell me more, Kurt. What do you mean? I'm not paying much attention to it lately. More so attending to my personal issues. Same, Kurt. Because I feel like as much as we're focusing on the external, it's almost like fixing it, not shifting. So I think us being guided to just go in, focus on our little world. Plus, like, if I'm honest with you guys, like, I have to. I really do. Like, my physical world is asking me to like root stuff in and like be here now, be anchored here. And so there's this part of me that's kind of like, I get tired of almost talking about these future events or these like the rapture, and yeah, we're interested in it, right? I just, honestly, all I keep hearing is like, it's imminent, it's now, it's happening. A lot of things, right? So presence is all I can do. I know, this is all we can do, and this is what we are doing, and we're doing it fucking well. And I know that these shifty times, they're imminent. Part of me actually feels that it's happened already. I know that sounds really weird. Here's another thing, that I'm aware of our drama, our addictive drama-based mind. So this is another element that came in, is that people are highly addicted to drama. We don't even fucking realize it. Like, we love to feed victimhood because it makes us feel better about our own shit that we're not dealing with. So yeah, it's like we're addicted to the drama, and then of course we have these sort of extreme ass like drama. This is gonna collapse. So one thing I'm aware of is in my awareness, the collapse spiritually has already taken place. Like, the Archon grid is gone. Any beings still embedded here that aren't in alignment with the Earth's kind of like energy flow are they're out. They're out of here. And the intelligent, proactive, enlightened humans are actually working on the front lines about how to reorder the system. Like, the background noise, as it were, of leadership has shifted. A lot of the darkest deep state people have been uh, removed from positions of power, you could say. And those of us here now are moving into the resource-based economy. Um, Part of me wonders, like, because we're here just being present, it might not even be as extraordinarily chaotic. I think, in a weird way, like we've already gone through the worst of it. And like here again, coming from a place of privilege, I cannot speak for all, and I certainly cannot speak for a lot of people in different countries, because they're still potentially in the thick of it and still being heavily oppressed by our systems of oppression. And so there's an imminent shift happening in our culture, so that our compassionate leadership can start addressing that disparity, and we can implement and or start the discussion of how to implement a more fair system, right? Hi Julie, how are you, my friend? I was thought about you a couple times this morning and was gonna message. I didn't. I did not. But you're here now, so that's good. See? So Crypto Mike, see, Crypto Mike is just affirming basically what I've just said, is like things are shifting and happening sort of in different realms, and I'm just not aware of it, right? So hence I share this stuff, and you guys can make me more aware of that. Oh, hi Kaya. How are you? We are replaying a script dream. I know. Oh, and Aphrodite, you're just making me think, girlfriend, of like time really doesn't exist at all. And this is another reason for me, I'm feeling my embodiment work, like my yoga and meditation practices, are so useful right now, because linearity as a construct is gone. No sense of time really, or chronological order necessarily either. It's just presence in the here and now, outworking what is facing us and moving when we're being asked to move. Show up and speak when you're being asked to speak. Talk about what you're being asked to talk about. Give her a good cry. Give her a good noodle. Go do some yoga. It's all just flow. And I've been flowing super consciously in like emancipated freedom for the last 3.5 years, or 3 and a bit years. And no, it hasn't all gone how my limited monkey mind would have be like, this is how it's gonna go. If anything, I've just been bombarded by waves, which have cleared out all my bullshit ego stuff, and just made me more compassionate and more humble, to the point of just being on one's knees once again, being like, what do you want, Baba? But it's beautiful. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful, because I really have no fear. I have no fear from the controllers or because I know the light of love and Jedi-ness is the truth of our beingness, and so we're good to go. So 50 minutes in, let's get started on today's share topic, you guys. So historical context, the reason that can be useful to some people is just having an understanding of where, especially history, not propagated history, but if you do a little research, you might find out some of the history that's relevant to your family lineage, that's relevant to your historical context, which means like the stories of our culture, the stories of our family, right? The stories of our gender, even. So we can start unraveling by looking at the stories, including her story, right? That's a huge thing in feminist theory, of course. So we can look at those, and all it does is help us, for me anyway, all it does is help me have a bit more compassion, because it helps me understand what's happening inside of me. Yeah. By the way, all of this emotional storming stuff is what is transforming our DNA. This is the piece that I think people keep wanting to sidestep, is that it's when I'm in the depth of my for no fucking reason other than the fact that I got triggered, and I know that I can't deny whatever waves come up. So I allow myself, and I know from within the divine field of my awareness that when I'm processing that kind of emotion, that it's clearing and cleansing, and in essence, it's alchemy, transforming the codes of my cells. It's transforming the beingness, because in the recognition of that that pain, it moves out of me. And then I have a vibrational shift. That is in essence the teachings of the Fearless Life Guide. I actually say at one point in this guidebook, feel your fear and let it move you, or rather anger. Feel your anger and let it move you. I was getting really tired of all the, the pointing of fingers when it came to anger. And I'm just thinking, and also I gotta say, you guys, part of the flip for me about anger was the fact that in A Course in Miracles, which is another heavily propagated book in the spiritual well-being community. So in A Course in Miracles, there's a lesson that says anger is never justified. And you guys can well imagine the issue in that, of how it could be interpreted by people like anger is never justified. So like, I'm never allowed to feel anger. But here's the thing, like, if we've been in denial, if we've been in shame, if we've been in if we've been giving our power away to everything and everyone around us, there's going to be anger. In me, the way that I outworked or came to understand that lesson in A Course in Miracles is that anger is not justified if I'm attacking somebody else for my anger. But in my beingness, I realized that if I let myself feel my anger and don't just like put it onto somebody else for like not behaving how I want them to or what have you, then my anger moves. It's like heat. It's like fire. It goes, it like rises up, and I can just breathe through it and sit with it and feel it, and then and then it will shift, and then maybe I'll get a memory, or I'll get a flash or some word or something, and it will like, and I'll maybe cry for ages, or maybe feel more anger, or maybe I'll get resentful, or maybe like I'll move through this whole yummy, delicious host of emotions. And then usually there'll be like mega tears for a little bit, some deep core wound, and then a healing. And then I feel all peaceful and calm afterwards. And then usually that shit doesn't trigger anymore, and I move through certain low-level patterns. But it's not like, there's no quick fix to this stuff. I think that's like a big part of it, right? Age of Aquarius, bye-bye. Absolutely. Thus we have no choice but to go through the emotions. Exactly. Like, and then, but it is fascinating to me how people just deny them. And that's what I've had to distance myself from. I've had to really remove myself from communities in denial, basically, right? Oh, tree hugger, right? That was a huge insight for me. Totally, 100% agree with that. Anger, like whenever we feel anger, it's because we're in a pattern of disempowerment, which means we've just given our power to an authority, to our spouse, to our kids, to whomever. We give our power, and this can be quite subtle. If there's an anger trigger, we have to reclaim it, i.e. deal with our anger, get to the root of the wound of it, and then yes, it might require us to have some tricky conversations with people. Yes, it might require us to maybe let go or embrace or make some changes, but my God, it's worth it. My God, it's worth it. So yeah, precisely. And then letting it go. Anger stems from fear. It's a defense. Totally. But then this is also something else I'm moving into, which I will continue to share. So useful, so helpful to sit with anger, right? Well, that's why we have journals. Keep it moving. Like, anger is absolutely a defense. But this is what I am starting to flip into, it's not about excusing my behavior, because I'll always take responsibility. But this is where, for the empath, this potentially gets us into codependent patterns with people, where we're actually taking on their shit, is what I've realized, because there's such a thing around like anger never justified, or like there's such a bypassing around it in spiritual communities. It's so easy, especially if we're in a couple, it's so easy to just default into like, whoa, like you're being reactive, you're being angry. And for me, I'll often sit there and be like, is this my anger though? Or are you just in fear? Or do you just have a program where the women in your life always got angry, and so that's what you expect from me, and because you're frightened of me, you're playing all this bullshit fucking manipulation, and I get fucking angry because you're not dealing with your anger. You're in denial of it, and all you do is project it onto me and or other people. So what I'm aware of is people who are super duper in denial. If you're an empath, you might find yourself having these almost like really weird out of body explosive reactions. And that, to me, is the difference. Of course, it's subtle. And one has to be already, probably for quite some time, taking full responsibility for their emotions and then rising out of these sort of codependent cycles. But there is a difference, and we are all acting out projections. And there's a difference between a trigger that like hits and then something comes up from within versus you're having an exchange and almost out of nowhere, you're just going, and then the other person is like, yeah, because they're just manifesting their monster. They're the ones that aren't aware. And so they're like putting a bunch of unconsciousness, and then you're exploding and they think it has nothing to do with them. And that is where we're having to outwork and untangle these distortions, is that we all just so easily like, whoa, calm down. Especially this is where the women speaking out more, because women typically have a historical context around hysteria. More typically, women in their emotional fields have been hospitalized, demonized, stolen from, and then fucking killed. So it's like, those of us having these emotions have a lot of like, is this safe? And I guess maybe that's why that people perceive what I do as kind of bold, is that I am aware that sometimes when I'm dealing with my emotional pain, that I have flashbacks of villages being burned. I have flashbacks of the time that I was beheaded, tortured, raped, whilst watching the man that I love watch me getting brutally tortured, right? So it's like there's some fucked up shit in our historical coding. We've all done it. We've all been through it. We've all gone through the Wheel of Fortune, and thank God we're rising out of it. Thank God Almighty, the Lord in heaven, right here, Lord in heaven, right here, my friends. So. But there again, in spiritual circles, they'd be like in denial of it. So you can't even have the conversation with a lot of people. That's what I realized, is that some people, you want to do the right thing and address something, and they'll just literally, they'll like become a child, or like their whole persona will come crumbling down. And then someone like me, I'll just walk away. I've always been a bit of a lone ranger. I'll just walk away from situations if it doesn't feel clear. Or if I've been shunned by people or cut out, eventually I'll just walk away, because I don't necessarily know why I feel this sense of responsibility to sort everybody else's issues out, especially when they're treating me like shit. And I'm just like, and then other people would still put that on me. Like, no, you're not happy. Like, you really should go back to enslavement. Like, you really should go back into that situation and let yourself be like, perved on or whatever. I'm like, no thanks. And that's where I've started to see the flip. My intuitive protective mechanism is now like this like phoenix fire. It's like, no, I know my truth. I'm not going to let you lie to me anymore. Freedom! Suddenly the narcissist, suddenly all the fucking privileged people that aren't doing the work, at least they're not going to hook into me no more to keep feeding their entitled quick fix bullshit privilege. You guys, when I spew out that venom, that it actually does come from a place of love. Like, all I want is for people to be happy, and I'm happy that people are happy, and I'm happy for people where everything is going super, super amazing for them. I just lived a life of this sensitivity. This heart of mine has found living on this planet incredibly difficult, and I've been like shunned and disowned and abandoned and rejected most of my life, and I'm fucking tired of it. And all this like, you create your own reality. I'm like, yeah, I know, but the reality I'm looking at is still really, really, really fucked up. And so I had to keep looking within to outwork it and outwork it. And people are like, well, don't take the burden of the world on your shoulders. And I'm like, I try not to, really, really, really hard. I just feel a lot. And it's not about taking the burdens of the world on my shoulder. It's about radiating out a more positive vision of a compassionate humanity. And it would appear that we have just a lot of layers to burn through. It's called sheaths in the yoga. Oh, good, Daniel's son. Gosh, that makes me feel better. Look, I look up and I see much of your venom is humor. Thank you. That's what I intend. That's what I hope, right? MJ, we are part of a collective. It's not just one reality. It's our reality. This is true. And this is where the discernment for the empath is actually pretty mega, my friend. It's like, I've had to create that. I constantly, my process of meditation and to keep coming back to my little world is really important, because I can so easily feed into like the collective programs that are going on around me. And increasingly, thank you for the reminder, I'm aware like I can only just focus on me. And that's a good thing. And yet I just always want to like I just want more people to be like, yay, and like be of service and shine their light and step into their power and not give a shit about buying the next trendy thing. And like, I don't know, the peaceful life. And it's all there for me to create. And this is what I'm doing and creating. I just share because you'd think like 10 years professional yoga career and professional meditation transformational coach with all these like exclusive, because I was there, it's like reaching these certain heights of manifestation, but then realizing that's not it either. And then breaking free from that and going, well, yeah, life is still bottoming out, and what the actual F. Oh, Kurt, I love it. I love the clarity, and you are so right. And there is only my reality, and yet the collective reality is a unity concept, right? And that brings me. Okay, so these are the notes that I have for today's share, and I can't even remember, but like, so I have historical context is laced in fear and separation, division, which is all part of the control domination tactic of the holographic matrix system. Draconian Anunnaki. This is where it's a spiritual warfare. It's an energetic blanket, you could say. And we chose that for some miraculous reason. Fear. So then you have the conceptual framework of like via the fear, ding, then we're like we're conceptualizing our reality. Now, the little note on conceptual framework is that it's a false perception, it's a false logic, it's a half a circle rather than a full circle, because we've denied the feminine, we've denied the intuitive aspect, we've denied our emotionality. So everything that we've been like projecting into the field of this reality has been disconnected, i.e., mind disconnected from host destroys its host, which is what we're seeing being played out in that matrix world, is a bunch of humans disconnected from their heart field, thinking everything is separate, destroying the planet that we're living on. Hence why we're all here in kind of like a bit of a, like guys, wake up, stop shopping, stop drinking so much, and just try to realize that, like we're responsible. We have to become more responsible. And then even as I say, like, stop drinking, I'm like, if it suits you, go for it. I drank as long as I drank and until you don't. So I'm not here to judge you guys on your consumption pattern. You already know that. So there's a false perception. So this whole healing process that someone like me is talking about and that I propagate in my own material is that we have to start feeling in order to heal that concept, bring it back into unity, bring it back to love. And then there you have the paradigm shift. So I'm somebody who, and a lot of us in this community, here's a bit of a trippy, or maybe out there, or maybe we wouldn't think this, but most of us, I would say, are born in like a fourth dimensional consciousness. We've already been here enough and possibly been watching it even on a soul level, which is why there's the awareness of it. So, and then I don't necessarily talk about these, but it mainly just has to do with like a lot of us have been in our heart the whole time, and like the difference in how we teach one another is that when I disconnected, that was when I actually started to learn about the human condition, about oppression, about enslavement, about control, about disconnection, about healing, all of it, right? So really our disconnection is part of our growth and expansion as a soul. And that's the paradigm shift on Earth. That's what the entire human collective consciousness is actually endeavoring and moving through, whether we like it or not. It's happening to us. We've chosen it. And yet many of us are walking into it blind. Some of us not so much, but that's why we're all here. We're here to support one another. Me too. Me too. And here's the thing, and this is something I think Julie or someone mentioned about, like, we need to just be able to say it for what it is. That's what awareness is. It's that there's a difference between denial and awareness. Now, it's one thing to see through the eyes of love and to and to think positive and to imagine a more positive world. But that is not to be in denial of what we are here now feeling and endeavoring to see, or what we are seeing in the here now. See it fully, feel it now, look at it, address it, right? Bring it into the light of our awareness, bring the corruption into the light of our awareness, bring the inherent injustice into the light of our awareness, and transform it with fierce love. That's kind of what it is, you know? That's what it is in my experience anyway, because again, most people most of my life been like, you're intense. Like, okay. No wonder I'm fucking reclusive. People can handle about an hour and a half of me in a yoga situation, but otherwise, call it what it is, right, Julie? Right. This is part of the hamster wheel effect, or the rat race effect, is that a lot of people, and this I'm not blaming people because the system is cunning that way. It kind of does veil people and or choice, whatever, right? But so long as we're going around being like, yeah, everything's fine, but not genuinely addressing, say, homelessness, which is on the rise in a lot of our countries, and suicide on the rise in a lot of our countries, and more of us becoming sensitized and seeing what happens to little kids as they become indoctrinated by the school system. And like, and I'm talking Canadian, American, UK, Australia, like these kind of what would we call ourselves in high school? What would our countries be? First world nation versus the third world. And I'm like, yeah, we call ourselves the first world because we literally like mass genocided the third world, like stepped all over the third world and like built our pipelines and dropped our bombs, and we're like, yeah, we're first. We're first. And I'm like, no, we're gonna end up last because we fucked it. So we have to forgive ourselves and then start to be really real about what it is that we are facing, which is global catastrophe potentially, and get real and anchor in and be like, okay, we're all a little bit fucked. We're all a little bit distorted. The whole world has totally gone into chaos, but we can put our feet in the ground and we can just have some yoga and meditation and saving bowls and simplify our lives so that we can be channels of clarity for people going through their awakening. Because all this is just going to keep happening. And hi, Uranus and Taurus. I was thinking about that, Kurt. And we'll continue to do the work that we're guided to do, because I believe our timelines are going to eventually, it will start make more and more sense on a worldly level. And then we can share our gifts with people, and we can share our writings with people, right? And explain in a really calm and loving way how we move through these energies, right? And then continue to cooperate and work together and be kind and heal stuff and then eventually we'll be hanging out by a fire. I often joke about this. I'm like, guys, all this love stuff, it doesn't mean we're going to be like holding hands singing Kumbaya together. And like I'm literally getting all gushy, being like, guys, we're going to be sitting by a fire singing Kumbaya together. No, but we probably do that. Probably have like weekend celebrations, like intentional celebrations, and then off we go back into our worlds, just supporting people to the best of our ability. It just seems sometimes, and I think that's probably why I was emotional today, because I caught stuff. Oh no, it was like a couple of days ago I watched or rewatched a documentary called Fire. And I think that documentary specifically, I would recommend it. It's a good documentary, pretty interesting. Have you heard of it, Kurt Mel? Fire, exactly, FYRE. And it really, it hit me in as far as the privilege piece, and the main fella, it's just so obvious to me how wounded he is and how disconnected he is. Same, right? And then all the and then this is where maybe I thought about like me talking about the whole influencer world, is that like all these influencer people are just like, yeah, up we go. And I don't, it's not like a diss. It's not like a tearing these people down. It's like oh God. Like, they don't know what they're doing. Like, they're in a world where, like, having good selfies and, like, having lots of da da da, and, like, and that's okay. What happens when the veils get lifted for these people and they realize that the banking system is fucked up and that all the clothes and things that they've been buying for most of their lives have been created by slaves in India or slaves in China, and that the meat they've been eating has been totally brought about through cruel abhorrence, enslavement and slaughter. And so what I'm aware of is the ignorance, the ignorance within the beingness of that world. And then also with this fire, yeah, it's on Netflix, you guys. Um, with this fire documentary, what like gets me even right to the end is all these people around this main. You must have to call him like people did call him like a sociopathic liar kind of thing, right? So there was the term, but even with that, all these people around them kept almost like justifying his behavior, like he's just a really good entrepreneur, or like he just knew how to get money from people, like it was a good thing. Everybody just hopped on board, he just stay positive and da 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 da. And actually, at the same time, maybe it's relevant because of how it turns out. But what gets me, and this is the thing about it, and Kurt, if you've seen it, you'll get me, is like, okay, it all, like, there was some stuff that came down that there might be a bit of you that's like, ha ha, like, serves you right, and then there's actually a thing at the end where blah, 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 blah. But, the biggest bit that got me, and I'm pretty sure, as far as I can tell, this is just how they've left it, is like, there was basically one matriarch on this island that took responsibility for their actions, for this kind of group of men dominantly. And not just young men. These men weren't just like the 20-something entrepreneur. There was an elder. There was a man probably in his 50s, part of this collective, who kept, again, massaging the ego of this fire guy. And then they all just flee. They just flee the situation and are like, oh no, I had like post-traumatic stress because I felt a bit guilty. And I'm like, you are guilty. You just bankrupted this woman and destroyed like a bit of the system of this simple island, and you just fucking run away and go and then carry on and often your privilege, like right, see, Kurt, yeah, same, that moment at the end. So I'm like, even though there were some moments where you're like, okay, fair dues, like they still have to like face the shits, but not really. And like this guy, like the amount of people that they exploited, and then he doesn't even, he can buy his way out of bail when he gets back to America, and they just fuck off and leave the Bahamian people, like they just used like hundreds of people and then fled and were like, oops, sorry. And I'm like, and then some other person, of course, some woman on the island who already looks after Buddy, uses her life savings to try to cover the bullshit that these white, upper middle class, privileged, entitled people did. And like this documentary is showing us, this is what people like us. So no wonder there's places around the world that are not particularly fond of Americans. I'm like, yeah, if we go around acting like that, no shit, the world is going to be a bit like, you have no respect for me or my country. Fuck off, Let's be honest. If any of us, when we treat each other like that, who wants it? None of us. Gee whiz, eh? Gee whiz, eh, you guys? Look at me, I'm rambling on for England today. Or actually, rambling on for New Earth and Compassion. Oh, hey, Susanna, how are you, my friend? Bernie, Bernie Sanders. So this is a political thing happening in America. A friend of mine watches a lot of this stuff. I don't, but I get a little bit fed from him. So are you guys all rooting for Bernie? Is that a real deal for you? Loot and plunder. Okay, so we have the historical context, which is like this karmic backlog, which more and more of us are aware we just cannot hide. Brilliant, brilliant, Susanna. Um, and then we have the false perception, which essentially, once we realize this is all fear, and then we do a little digging, we realize that like that cutoff of the feminine, which split us all in half or split us all off from the self, now that's healing. So that's helping us to intellectualize and understand the conceptual framework, going from a historical context of fear-based thinking to a now present moment-based context of love and unity. And then that is what unifies the false perception quite clearly, not through denial, but through unifying the field and then allowing the thought frequency to actually be born out of these aligned states versus the fear states. This is what is ultimately one in the same of our paradigm shift and or spiritual awakening, which is us moving into unity consciousness. This is a quantum leap in evolution. Some people call it the ascension process. I rather like evolution because I think of us expanding as a cycle rather than a process of moving up and down. I'm starting to get ever so slightly triggered by any kind of divisive or like try hard or like superiority around the spiritual language that we're using. Like ascension is this idea of like ascend, like out of the body, we're ascending, which could potentially make like okay, so you're some like high and mighty human, you've ascended to 5D, big fucking deal. Like, as in like, how is this actually helping us to assist in humans' evolution? Well, I think anything that would potentially make our ego. I've read we're repeating Rome now. Tell me more about that. Oh, we're repeating the fall of Rome now. Yeah, well, what's happening, right? Now that the energy of the Vatican's been released, we're seeing a sort of landslide of systematic structures. And that is, what did you just say about the planets? It's Taurus and Uranus, or Uranus moving into Taurus is actually breaking, or Saturn and Capricorn are the entire systematic, again, concept that has born and birthed that history, it's crumbling. It's just crumbling. And so here, communities like us, in some divine, miraculous way, are somehow, and new paradigms that are actually planted down, like New Earth, Sasha Stone, Thrive Movement, Foster Gamble, I think his name is, and various other communities, Mind Valley even. It's that we are actually putting pillars down. We're getting ready here now. We're building. We're starting to build. Why? How? Because we're talking about it freely. We're not dead. I know that sounds effing weird, but like, I'm just so aware of it on like every level of every being. I'm like, I never made it to this age in human life. I always got killed, which is probably part of this like low level depression at this point. It's like the karma that I've never had an opportunity to face. It's ancestral karma, you know, from all the many witches that have come before me. Yep, Uranus and Taurus, Saturn, Pluto, and Capricorn, and Jupiter join. So this is where all the astrologers, and I haven't even really looked into it myself, but all the astrologers are talking about the 2020 astrology. Nice one, Kurt. A total collapse reset is possible. Well, I think it's imminent. Because, like, I know this might sound really fucking depressing, but I'm like, I don't want to be here if these changes aren't coming. Like, if we're going to go back into just like, no, fear, oppression, greed, that's the world, I'm going to be like, take me that. But so I know I actually want, and I'm pretty sure like more and more of the majority, and I think that's the critical tipping mass that we're actually reaching to as these awakenings unfold. Exactly. I want the collabs as well. I'm like, please, like, because then that was ultimately also what's going to help wake people up and help ground people into humility. pardon me, because everybody's control and defense mechanisms will be gone. If the economy collapses, you can't use money to fucking mask your shit no more, you know, or deny it. We're all then on the same playing field. And it's like, yeah. Oh, so you're not using your privilege to enslave people no more. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, so you have to deal with your karma just like all of us have had to do for the last fucking millennia. And then that makes sense that finally, after all the suffering, we can actually rise and have more joy and alignment flow, and then serve and bridge the gap of privilege and poverty, bridge it so that we're more unified, i.e. universal income. Because that was another thing that often gets me, is I'm like, so we choose to come to this planet where like our birth certificates are sold on a stock market, and we're all just like, okay, our life force is like being used and harnessed I don't know, like that whole story. And then I'm just like, yeah, we definitely have the potential to make a world where everybody's supported. Like that's very real and tangible. And more and more so when I think about the old paradigm, I'm like, so we all just accept that we get born unlucky, have to be a slave forever, miserable slave, like that's all there is, and that we're not. And then I'm like, but didn't you ever work it out? Like this is also part of my awakening early days and like working stuff out. And I'm like, so essentially what happened was that a few people stole everything and then made the rest of the people, the 99%, work to claim back what they already own. Like we all have a right to be here. And like this is the thing, right? Like we all have a right to exist and to be and to live here. And this economy really fucks people up. Oh, well, that's just the economy. It's how it works. Oh, well, that's just the war, the military complex system. I'm like, yeah, that's how it works. But recognize that we're all part of it. That we're all like supporting that versus, but we're not. Well, you guys, we're good. We're good. We're out ahead of the game. And there's a bit in this book where I literally talk about that. Just boom your light frequency and off we go. Like more fun for us, more playing, right? And then I have this image of like us having little like light trails. Like, so like our little light trails are just like, ah! And then other people, so we don't leave people behind. They could catch our light trails, basically. We are the changed. We are the healed. Oh, it's a hells of a scam. Like this is part of why a lot of us have anger issues when we start awakening, because, and this is what I mean about the rest of our bros and sisters. I want to say bros and hoes. That's not nice. I'm not going to say that. Our brothers and sisters who are still like shopping and like trying to be good because their parents, whatever. And then they're also going to wake up and realize like the world that they've been trying really hard to fit into is like corrupted and fucked and is using them as slaves. Even though their lives might look pretty good, deep down they're still going to have enslavement patterns of disempowerment. They're there. And this is straight up this is that next breaking point, is that I'm feeling some deep stuff, and it does have to do with the privilege piece, and people all around the world who have been lying to themselves about this, that, or the other. It's coming up. Coming up, whether we like it or not. The blinders are fully off. Do you mean like for the collective? Is that a collective insight, or is that essentially where we are? Well, I know we're there. I know this community is there. The blinders there, because otherwise you guys wouldn't understand what I'm talking about, because that's my reality. So people have cognitive dissonance sometimes when I speak. And I know that. I'm aware of that. I skip into abstract thought a lot, and people can't always follow that. Charlene, the collective. Nice. Okay. And that would actually make sense with this recent, like this last 3 to 4 months of just like the depth of the pain and the intensity, was that could be it now. So that's the big release, the big lift off, the big, I always want to say like when the shit hits the fan, or the lid, when the lid finally pops off, that's where we've been like, whoa, like feeling the energy of the collective awakening. It's like a bunch of shit flying out everywhere. We're just having to like protect ourselves from not getting too much shat on. Make sure we're having showers every night, you know? We'll be going in the right direction for sure, right? The blinders are fully off. I appreciate that, Charlene. That makes me feel good. Duck and dive. I love that you guys just get me and find it funny as well. I'm like, thank you. Cheers, guys. I appreciate that. I never thought of myself as like a funny person because most people are just like, you're intense. Like, calm down. I'm like, okay. World's oldest profession. Well, we were just beings en flow, living in community. Yeah, we didn't have professions until we had people who came here to steal. Sorry, I know. Oh, brilliant, you guys. Thank you. I appreciate it because I'm like, I don't even know how else to be because like even in my yoga classes, like I laugh and jest. And I think for the most part people find some people are like very much rooted in tradition and so they just think I'm a crazy lady and how dare I try to be spiritual and teach spiritual stuff. But then a lot of people find it kind of refreshing because I often do the whole like spirituality isn't serious. It's only our bullshit ego who would be like, I am ultra spiritual because I meditate, which makes me better than all of you. And so you guys are all going to bow to my greatness and meditate with me. Come. You know, I'm just like, I'm pretty sure the teachings are teaching us that we're all one, which means we're all in this together, which means any dogma, any austerity, any kind of like, is just more disempowered fucking game playing ego, you know. And there again, it's some weird empath thing because I can often feel the core wound in people and how they're glossing over it with like, yeah, I meditate. Hi friends, I'm MJ. I meditate like a mofo lover. And I still don't have my shit sorted out, so there you go. What are you gonna do about it? All right, you guys. So this is the longest share ever. I love this, Scott, by the way. And bankers and priests, domination and control, right there, my friends. Priesthood. There's the domination piece in our. So the domination priesthood is that really truly we are connected beings with a direct source to God. But if you disconnect people and then claim to be the one connected, you force that domination. That's where we had the punishment of the Almighty judging God. We give it away. And then the bankers hold the key to all of our control patterns because we're all intertwined. Because if you have to force people to work to survive here, you own their shit, man. So it is, you banged on that. The priesthood and the banking brotherhood is what is out of here. And let's be honest, one pillar is already fallen. Therefore, if there's a structure built on Vatican and or false prophecy, and then the banking system, which is here to just control and disempower the masses, the Vatican has already fallen. Pope Benedictine or something like that already claimed, he already tried to say something recently about the reason the Vatican is falling is because women have been allowed to have sex or something like that, or women have been allowed to have abortions or some bullshit thing. I'm like, oh, okay. Just blame women again for all of your fucking pedophilia. It's our fault that your brotherhood are a little bit sick. Okay. See, and here's the thing. I am happy to take responsibility, but I will not have people point fingers and blame anymore. I'm not blaming them. I'm just going, yeah, there's some shit you need to work out by yourself. You might have some karma to deal with, brothers. If you've been fucking little brothers, they don't deserve that, and you know it's wrong. You know. We know. We know when we're connected the heart. We know the difference between right and wrong. We know the truth of our integrity. Let's stop fucking about here. and giving and bowing down and sucking, pardon my French, sucking the dicks of people who are not very good people. And I mean that in a contextual sense of, could we stop like worshiping our holy men? Oh, like, you know, I've been saying some shit that I recently heard someone named Sadhguru say, and I'm like, oh, okay. So an Indian guru says that it is wisdom. A white Western woman says it, and nobody gives a shit. So that's okay. Also my own. Also my own. I have mad respect for someone like Sadhguru. I do. But it triggers sometimes my own disempowerment because I'm like, fuck, women, we've just been giving our power away for millennia. Take it back. Take it back. Like, quick, hurry up. See, Kurt, but this is the juice of life, my friend. This is the juice of life. You know the answers. And like all of these wonderful ideas you have are the truth of the path of how we could actually, how we can implement certain structures. Now, part of the shift and something that's been in my awareness for quite a while is that there will be billionaires and millionaires who awaken at some point. And yeah, crypto Mike. Sorry, I didn't mean, I felt like funny doing that. Crypto guy, crypto Mike, and then Bitcoin. I don't really know anything about that. I'm kind of curious about it, but maybe it's because I don't fully understand it, and so I'm just like, but hey, send me an email if you want to share. Maybe Bitcoin's something that we could do for the channel or something. Oh, Mike, for sure. But this is also part of the open-heartedness of it. It's like, it's not the wealth. It's not people. Like, well, it is actually. It is us making the choices. But yes, that's something I've observed in my reality. And like, this is something a lot of my like private clientele, you guys, like this is legit, but I'm like, some of my private clients are like some of the wealthiest people in the world. There's a few clients who pay me a really nice little sum to do yoga and have chats with them and stuff about their lives. And, you know, they're heirs and heiresses to tycoons of sort, right? And so hanging out, and yet they're no different. They're just fucking people. They just socialize and travel a little bit differently than someone like me, but they're not different. And here's the thing, cryptocurrency, Mike, it's that what I've realized is that whether you're poor or rich, judgment is judgment is judgment. So if you resist or judge, you stay where you are, whether you're rich or you're poor, you know, there's no, and same, I have met some of the most beautiful and generous people, and some of them are the wealthiest in the world, and some of them are the poorest. Like straight up. Like also my friends in Indonesia who we all funded and put some money for them together. And I want to continue to support them. I want to give like percentage of profit from All to Love to Safawi and his family. Because they're, again, like, these are some of the poorest and disenfranchised people in the world. And I felt the most benevolent in their presence. They were so generous. God, the food they would cook me for every meal. And the fact that they just wanted to give and give. And I'm like, but you guys have like nothing? You live in like a shack and make the equivalent of like 6 pounds a month working every day? I'm like, oh. So there I'm like, but they're so generous. And then there I've had some of the kindest and most generous in spirit of that world of the elite, but they're not. This is what I mean about the real, true, dominating, controlling, divisive, tactic, elitist agenda is are further behind our constructed veils of leadership. So here I am. I know it would appear that I'm attacking privilege, but but because I'm so honest and transparent, this is something that I'm noodling out in myself. Because I'm born into this world of privilege as well, and I've never understood why my other brothers and sisters in privilege don't want to help the people who are less privileged. But I've never been to that level of privilege where I've actually been able to give my resources other than my heart and my kindness, right? But I've always had this dream of making millions of pounds just to give it away, to be like, guys, see, that's not the important thing. And so I'm like, but then that's not it. And I'm like, well, then fuck the money. Just keep showing up and sharing the love that you have, because that's the next best thing. Or it is the best thing, because it is the truth of it. The money is superfluous to the missions that we're on, right? In integrity, because in the yogic tradition, in the yamas and the yanamas, it's no stealing, no hoarding. So in essence, this idea of like saving up and hoarding wealth and finances, and again, a construct of illusion and perception of limitation. For sure. They don't know they're inherent. It's so true. So it doesn't matter how poor or how rich we are. If we're not connected to our divinity, we're in weird manipulative tactics, which most of us and a lot of us can kind of look back at different cycles in our lives and see how we were that too. You know, when I was in the fear, I lied to my partners, or when I was da, 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 da. And so at this stage, I can understand when people doing it. I just don't tolerate it as much because I'm tired of it and because I need to move on, you know? Right. Yeah, Julie, exactly. There will be an inherent imbalance when we're not connected to our divinity. Okay, I'm gonna start to close it down after almost 2 hours, you guys. Like, what the actual awesome is this? And this is what I think more and more people are starting to realize from within the self, that the imbalance is there within us, and we have to come to the wholeness. And from your guys's help, like from our feedback connections, I am getting, there's something very powerful coming through about the Merkaba structure. Julie, this is relevant for you as well. The Merkaba structure in our meditations, I feel like that has something really critical to do with protecting our energy field and also keeping us in alignment with like the source points that we are. And then colors, the primary yellow, red, yellow, and blue. There's a connection between the color essences, the rainbow colors that we are, and how this is from Erin, by the way, Erin Hearn. So like we paint, the feminine are like the colors that we paint with in this reality. And the number, the 369, is connected to the Merkaba toroidal structure of the infinite flow of life from within. So we're like anchoring into this like abundant vortexual light field, which is rising us in our beingness. It's simply expanding, not necessarily rising higher and lower, but it's the roots are rooting deeper. Our energy is expanding out. It's almost like the masses will have no other choice but to join us and deal with their shit. But we will love them. This is the thing about this community. Like, no love is lost. Like, it's okay if people send me sometimes not so nice messages as well, and I do my best to receive it with love and like to honor the fact that I said something that triggered or hurt them, and that I have stuff to work on too, and you know, all of that. So hey, Clear Vibrations. So because Clear has shown up, you were here a bit ago, I saw, but I also, just a reminder, me and Clear are organizing retreats, you guys. We're gonna we're noodling, but we know for sure we're gonna do a retreat in Morocco next February. So 2020, yo. Boom! This is the All to Love meetup year, I think. Plus, I think a lot of us actually have co-creative work to do. We're doing it already, actually. So, Clear Vibrations, we're going to go to Morocco next Feb. We'll let you know exact dates when it happens. And then we're going to be in Kauai in June, probably around the solstice, right? So we're going to keep you guys posted on all that. Any of you who went to Kauai with Clear recently as well, just hook it up, my friends. You're the best, you guys. Like, there's a so funny part of me of my own awareness. No, not this June, next June. Although this is the June that I'm in France. So I'm in June. I'm in France, French Alps, for my yoga and paragliding retreat, June. I know the dates. Don't you worry. June 19th to 23rd. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Nobody's booked. And so I'm just like, I'm doing a price drop this week. We're going to bring it down from basically $999 to $1299, and I'm dropping it for $200. So for this week, I'm going to offer it from $799 to $1099. $799 is basically sharing. And you lost me at paragliding. Yeah, this is a new venture for me as well, which is why I'm not even like, you can see I'm not like attached to it. It's an endeavor. We're trying it out right at the beginning of summer. Yeah, right for the solstice. I've often done that. Like last year I had a Fearless Love retreat here in the UK, right around the spring equinox. I do quite like to have retreats around certain energetic, like potent energetic belts. So yeah, definitely we're going to have that. We're going to have our retreat June 19th, 23rd. It's in a place called Le Grand Bagnon. We'll just do yoga every day, sit by the pool, sauna, and there will only be one day where we go paragliding, because I've had one inquiry from somebody, and then in fairness, I've just gotten a bit of feedback, but the price point is just a bit too high for people, so I'm having to bring it down, right? I would love to. Okay, straight up, Julie, as well. Like, I am somebody who, as a child, I would get spin nausea. Like, I was all right with roller coasters, but any of the, you know, the machines, what am I trying to say? The rides at parks that would go like spin or like just a repetitive movement. I actually, this is when I was in Germany. We went to a theme park, and this is like super gross story, but I like vomited in my mouth and then had to swallow it back because I couldn't. Oh, see, some people will like, oh, let's go on the spinny rides. I'm like, ooh. So, in fairness, when I first, I got headhunted, by the way, for this center. So people found me via a place this posh retreat that I used to work at. And has asked me, like, come do one. Let's see if it works. Let's see if this yoga and paragliding thing could actually take off. So we're kind of like collaborating, and there's a bit of like just mutual friendly support as far as like setting up a retreat place, but then making it financially viable. And then, you know, someone like me would come and do a retreat there. And I also was like, oh no, I'm going to get motion sickness from paragliding. And then they told me about this like acrobat bit where you literally like, he like swings. Actually, I should probably make like a little video. I could do that today. I have footage. You can buy footage as well, basically. Like, they have a GoPro cam. So like after your tandem fly, or flight or whatever, you can buy the memory of it, because they fly with the camera, and they get you to hold it, and then they get you to like use the steer things, and then they do this whole acrobat thing, which, even as I'm thinking about it, there might be a little bit of nausea there, but actually, surprisingly, but this is where my deep breathing techniques and yoga vibes come in, is that I just breathed really deep. Plus, let's be honest, it's a little bit nerve-wracking. You're just like floating around in middle of the air. But it's liberating. It was like a liberating experience, but I'm kind of with you, Julie, of like, it's not my thing. Like, I'm adventurous in the sense that like, I'll be up for something. Like, I'd try it if I was just put in that situation. You know, I didn't go seeking this paragliding experience. It just kind of came to me. So I was like, well, I'm not going to come all the way out here and not at least try it. So I tried it, and it was beautiful, better than I expected, but it's not something I'd get like addicted to, where like, you know, like the yoga or even the surfing. Like, surfing is something I'm really up for. So hence Morocco, Kawi is really actually more aligned with like me, my vibes. And then the France retreat is actually more to the point. It's about unplugging. The 5-day retreat, I'm actually asking myself and the attendants to put their phones away. We do yoga in the morning. It will be all vegan. We'll go swimming. There's a pool. We're in the mountains. We're in the Alps. So like some hikes, people can go out on the hikes. And then there'll be discussions like this. There'll be tutorials and lectures, as it were, discussions around the book, transformation. And also, I will have launched Unplug for Freedom, which is my final of the Be the Change online course series, an 8-week online course of teaching people how to unplug. So this is you teach best what you most need to learn. So for me to teach that, I have to become more disciplined around not being on this mofo lover all the time, and also clarity. You know, reclaim my mind. Take my mind back. Woo! I just saw you've inspired me to do a live stream. Come do a live stream. I'll go check it out, Mike. When? So June 19th to 23rd. Pardon me. 799 to 1099. But if you guys are serious about wanting to come, I will I'll talk to you about what price you can afford. There's one person as well that I might reach out to because he's inquired and just said it's still too much expensive. Reclaim the mind. This is what we're doing. But getting rid of these things is super duper important to clear the mind because I'm finding it increasingly difficult, and I know it's to do with this technology stuff. Not bad. It's just it's a deeper outworking. Hi, John. How are you? Yeah. Okay. So go ahead to ultralove.com, you guys, if you want to see more about the retreat. You are more than welcome to. I would love to have you there. I really would. I understand it's a bit far, though. It's too much info, I think, from tech. Yeah. It is. It's too much info, and the info isn't anchored in reality. This is another aspect that's weird to me about influencer and all of this, is that we've jumped from one false program to another false program. And I catch that from myself. As I say, I can be honest of being I'm an actress. I'm going to be an actress. And then it's really easy to be like, well, that didn't work out. Oh, I'll be a yoga teacher. I'll be a yoga. So there's all this underlying programming around us wanting recognition, fame, but that is an illusion. That life isn't real. Nobody. Anywho, it's not that. I'm rambling now. I'm full on effing rambling, you guys, and talking some shiznaz now. Mainly because I'm aware that I'm gonna have to off I go because I have a yoga class to teach. Clear vibrations, yes, my love. Clear vibrations is clearing the way for all of us to amplify our vibrashe. And I just get to show up and do yoga and go like this. I jest. Yeah. I'm thinking that we'll probably, I'm just being super honest about where I'm at. I feel intuitively I think Ultra Love will be hosting 2 events a year. And then I'll want to go to festivals and go do bits and bobs, but I definitely be up for 2 a year. And I personally, my preference is to have another retreat leader, or I like to collaborate with people when it comes to holding space because it's intense, and it's also good. I found having another co-host because it means that at the end of the day we can also debrief and then come back with that clarity. Whereas the few times where I've done this stuff on my own, it can often start to, because you then, I don't know, you know what I mean? It's harder to clear. So, oh yeah, hells yeah, baby. Hell yeah, baby. Now clear vibrations. Do you know why that would work really well? Is because there's a fairly dominant group of us on that side of the world. I know a lot of you. I just looked at my Google Analytics. Actually, there's most of the audience here is actually from the US or England. So that's right. Yeah. Well, Clear fully gets it. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby, like a roll. Oh, baby, like a roll. What the hell is that song that's coming out all the time? And you guys, I love that you guys appreciate my fucking rambles, because anywho, that's all you got. Okay. So yes, Clear. And there again, it could be more of a Mind Valley construct where we have 2 events a year and changes every year. So 2020, we're kicking it off. Unless you guys want to join me in June in Grand Borneo for some paragliding and yoga. But otherwise, in February, we'll be in Morocco. Next June 2020, we'll be in Kauai. And then year by year, maybe we'll switch it up. Maybe we'll head to BC, the outback, outback, you know what I mean, the mountains. Maybe we'll hang out in the mountains in BC, and maybe we can all meet up in Bali one time. It's got to be on flow, and it's got to be just got to be true and pure, you know? So we'll keep it up. We'll keep sharing where we can. Ooh, macadamia nuts, hey? That is some good shit. Pine nuts, I figured. That's what I said in my mind when I read line nuts. I'm like, he means pine nuts. But Brazil, you gotta love some Brazil nut. You gotta love some hazelnut. Oh, what's my favorite? Cashew nut. And me too, Kurt. Cashew nuts and actually macadamia is the best. Macadamia is up there, and then cashew nut, and then like pecan and walnut kind of blend in. But then I love a Brazil as well. I love a Brazil. I do like the creamy nuts. I basically like the naughty nuts, you know, like the really naughty, salty ones, basically. But oh my God. So, you guys, I've been live for almost 2 hours this morning. I love you to bits. I could not possibly express my gratitude. I love maple glazed nuts. Do you know what I've gotten into? And I actually did a video tutorial, a very funny one in ultra love style, but I did a video tutorial for vegan love, and I made this. So try putting in a pot, put your cashews, or even better, I really like it, sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds. You put them in a jar and just put some soya sauce and a bit of maple syrup and like grill it up. And then you have like a sweet and salty, my mouth is watering as I talk about it. And I do it with cashews as well. Or sometimes I'll do like cashews, sunflower seeds, and then pumpkin seeds. Put her in a pot, soya sauce, or if you wanted to, sometimes I'll even add like nutritional yeast to make them like kind of like extra salty crunch, or blend it with like, yeah, the maple syrup with the salt. And you've got this just divine creation. It's good. Yeah, and this is my thing, Crypto Mike. Like, this is a classic thing as a near lifelong veggie. People always ask the question of like, where do you get your protein? And I'm like, it's such a propagated myth by the meat industry. I'm like, cows eat grass. Why do you think they're some of the largest beasts on this planet? They don't eat flesh for protein. You know, there's other stuff in flesh, blood, and blah blah that's good. It's just that, or not necessarily good or bad, just that there's minerals and stuff that are iron, you know, that our body can use. But we're gonna get it's not like we're gonna die from not eating it, and yet people propagate that idea. Again, not a service. It's heavy. It's dense food. As the collective awakening continues, though, more and more people just won't gravitate to it. They'll have awakenings which will lead them to it, and or their bodies will start to naturally want to cut it out because it won't feel, gnawing on the flesh won't feel nice. It won't necessarily even look appetizing, and or people will naturally start to come off it slowly, and then when they try it again, they really feel the density. And then once they really feel the density of it, naturally they just want it less and less, right? That's another one. That was actually in one of my guest businesses, Bob from Family Freedom. He runs a very successful clothing company called Ethics. And he says that in his interview, which I'm really pleased somebody said it, because I don't think it was necessarily mentioned. And I've known this for so long, but I don't talk about it as openly anymore because I don't necessarily want to have the conversation with some people. But the negative energy from the animal, that was also something I knew of like very young, was that we were eating, and that's part of the weird denial piece, the numbed outness piece, is that a lot of the foods that we're ingesting are numbifiers. You know, we often talk about like alcohol or substance or cannabis, like these are the negative poo-poo baddies. And I don't know that I think there's a reason they propagate them as the ultimate baddies and then don't talk about processed food and don't talk about it. And then people are, but I mean, in a collective global level, calcified our pineal gland transfers. Yeah. We get the suffering and anxiety through, and I get that. And also you mentioned about calcifying the pineal gland. I've recently bought like a little alkalinizing water purifier, which is good. Yeah. And like Julie is aware of that as well. The plants are life. Like we can live just off plants and have incredible energy and regenesis vibes. And the reason as well that this keeps triggering me is that the plant, you mentioned plants quite a bit, and then Thomas J., who is another, he's a natural scientist or natural philosopher and the science advisor for Humanitad University, which is the university attached to the New Earth Project by Sasha Stone and his collective. And Thomas J., one, he addresses the false logic thing of all modern academic institutions. And then he also talks about the plant. And the plant is something very relevant to our evolution as a seed of consciousness, and that the plant is the highest form of technology, and that we are the plant structure. It goes deeper, but yeah. I like cooked food as well. I eat steamed food, cooked food. I probably cook food way too much as well, but I just like, I like curry, and I do like food. I'm not like a raw fruitarian type person. I like quite a nice variety, and that's why it's awesome being vegan these days, because I still get to eat like chocolate and like burgers, and like I get to eat junk food basically, because nowadays a vegan can, like you have all these options. So if I'm feeling, do you guys, like sometimes you have the hunger and you're just like, I just need to like bite into something. I'm like, come on, we all know that a burger or a sandwich is beautiful food stuff. I just don't want to eat a dead creature. So the fact that I can still get like a little texture and flavor of that food, it's just the legit awesomeness, basically, right? Oh, Crypto Mike, I did. Only because I'm aware of like everything created by man is not as evolved as the earth herself. That actually it's our beingness that we're wanting to realign with the beingness of the earth structure so that we become the regenesis state. It's immortal life, essentially. It's basically merging our eternal light body coding with the physical apparatus, and then bringing that awareness and or technology into our physical dimension. That's the idea of the merging and the evolution state, is that the earth and the oneness beings are moving into this 0 point event horizon. And it is have to do with the biosphere, the microbiome from in our own gut, basically, is like optimized when we're in alignment with the earth seasons, rotations, life death cycles, right? And it's not that we necessarily skip death, but we consciously remove our essence from the physical body and drop it, not live in fear of when the body's like, because in essence, the systematic hologram is siphoning energy from people, which is why people are so sick and die in the way that we do. I'm not talking conscious death here. Not for me personally, but for a paradigm shift in diet, yeah. And that's the thing. I literally have no judgment. I'm like, people eat what they want. Do what you want, But what's nice for someone like me who got a lot of kickback as a kid when she went veggie from her culture, from her group of people, I don't get that now. People are kind of a little bit more curious. They're open to it, which for me just feels so effing awesome, right? So it's like great that there can be a little bit of an easier conversation around it. Plus, like, I don't know what I put out, but sometimes people, I swear to God, like they're frightened. They don't come near me. Maybe they watch one of my ragey YouTube videos and are like, but I get it and you guys get me. So it's all good, right? Yeah, I think it's just a natural. And again, I'm not like, for some humans, they really might need the flesh of a creature. They might need the blood of a creature. I'm not a nutritionist, scientist, and I'm not you, so I wouldn't know. But I think the way in which we consume is what fundamentally has got to shift. And we want to become more conscious and aware of the heart space, because in truth, when we move to the heart, a lot of this stuff doesn't even work, right? Yay! Yay! Kurt Mill. Can't even imagine how good being vegan would feel. It feels amazing, my friend. Buy my course. 1, 2, 3, Ultra Love. Ultra Vegan Love. Ulta Vegan Love, it's 140. All my courses are 144 pounds just because that was the number guided to. I think it's pretty good value as well. So, altalove.com. You can go and subscribe. And Crypto Mike. Oh, but are you vegan or not? I crave a lot of fat as well, my friend. And again, I don't like judge myself ever at all. Like if I want to have chippy, as in like chips and, but they're not chips. French fries. If I want like some fries, I have fries. If I want chocolate, I have chocolate. But what I've noticed with more intuitive eating and like living in alignment with like someone who really practices like self-love mega, it's that one thing that I don't do very much, if ever, I haven't done for years, is like binging. Because I think binging is a proper like self-hatred pattern of punishment. Oh, brilliant. So this is me going in for a hard sale, you guys. I'm like, Mike, check out Ulta Vegan Love. So the one thing that's cool is that I have a good friend. He's actually part of this collective, but he lives in Montana, like Amanda does, and he is a non-vegan who basically offered to volunteer, and he was my case study. So I actually have a non-vegan going vegan or trying the vegan course for 8 weeks with you guys while you sit the course. And I can actually update you and say, even after I've launched the course on April 5th, now it's what, like 2 and a bit weeks later, and he's still vegan. Actually, no, he's not like hardcore radical. And like, I think he maybe has had a bit of egg, and he's still quite open to having like some sushi from time to time. But all in all, he's pretty much vegan. And like, so, woohoo. So Ulta Vegan Love, Crypto Mike, is an 8-week online course with me, basically. But there's a whole bunch of featured businesses. I do like silly cooking recipes and stuff like that. There's obviously the case studies with Heath, and Heath and I like talk about stuff about his journey, about his gut, what it felt like transitioning. Because it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Like there is a physiological process when we make any changes ultimately. So he kind of shares a little bit about that. Like he gets quite intimate about his poos even. So, but yeah, 8 weeks of that. Oh, and also like a whole week on dealing with resistance. Fashion we cover, cosmetics and beauty we cover, and then lots of like foodie stuff. Oh, we cover like, oh, night, Julie. Mega love, hot love. Sleep well, my friend. And yeah, fashion, cosmetics, and then vegan junk food, vegan plant-based diet. And then I also talk about like intuitive eating, self-love, and being outside. So there you go. There you go, you guys. Feel free. Oh, and if 144 is too much for you, then feel free to just buy 1 week. You can buy 1 week at a time for 22 pounds, which I think is very fair. Very fair. Isn't it weird after all this ranting on? I'm like, hi. Oh yeah, I run a business in a world of fear and economy, and I would like you to buy my stuff because I'm trying to figure out how to live totally in alignment with my heart and my soul, and also be practical and responsible. It's not something that MJ's been very good at. MJ would just take leaps because it felt like the right thing to do, and then deal with the fucking consequences of 3D Matrix land after. And it always worked out. I'm not trying to put fear on you guys. It always, always, always works out. Cannabis seeds and spring water. What are you alluding to there, Scott? One day, we'll get there. I love you guys. This has been the longest share ever, and I'm as happy as anything. I love you. Oh, guys, remember like an hour and a half ago when I was crying? When I was just like... I know you're joking. I love that. I love that. You guys have an awesome day. I just have so much love for you. It's insane. And I'm incredibly thankful. Look, I'm going to study a little bit of tarot today. Hi, Patricia. Kurt. Ah, yes. The emotional roller coaster. It is fucking relentless, isn't it? One of my besties over here as well, who's taken a leap the last couple of years. She's like, oh my God, it's just relentless. I'm like, yeah, I know. But so is living in patterns of fear and hate. So hey ho. Yay, tarot. Do you? I actually found this, like, as you'd have it, where my mom has like a shipping container. I told you about my mom's story yesterday. So she has a shipping container here that her and I pay for. And I found it. I was like thinking about tarot, and then I had to go to mom's shipping container for some reason, and then I just happened to spot these in there. It works out, you know, when you're a little bit low on finances and you basically find what you're looking for without needing to purchase it. It makes you wonder, oh, maybe we're just always supported no matter what. Oh yeah, that's true, isn't it? That's love. That's true manifestation, yo. Okay, thanks for all the chats, you guys. I'm outie. I love you. I'll speak to you soon. Sleep well wherever you are, and or you know, just have a jolly frolic of a day. Whether you're sad, whether you're joyful, wherever you are, it's okay. You're good. You're all right. It'll pass. This too shall pass. Thine is the kingdom. The truth shall set you free. Love you. Bye.